this info session for the department. Well, welcome to those of you who are coming to the School of Public Health for the first time. We're really excited to share with you all the offerings in the Department of Health Policy and Management, particularly given that we have a new MS program in Global and Migrant Health Policy that we want to talk to you about. So we have an exciting department. Actually, the department now is almost half new in terms of the faculty composition. A lot of new expertise joined the department in the last this past year. We also have lots of interesting intersections with the institutes and centers housed here at the school that Dr. Haley will share with you a little bit about later. But today we've got a great lineup. We're going to just kind of share with you the basics of the curricula for both the MPH and Health Policy Management, as well as the new MS program in Global and Migrant Health Policy. And then we're going to get into a little bit of a panel discussion, if you will, where we have a couple of experts, current members of our school who specialize in global and migrant health, who can kind of share with you their perspective on what is the sort of landscape in the field, what is cutting edge, where the field is going, what are some of the professional opportunities in this arena. And we also have two students, one current student and one graduate who can share with you their current and recent experience with HPAM and the school at large. Okay, so, and then we'll open it up for questions after we share with you all the information that we prepared today. So without further ado, I think I'm going to let Dr. Haley come up and give you, oh, you're going to go first, actually, sorry. Yeah, so Meg is going to come back and give you some general information about application and admission to our master program first. And then we'll move on to Dr. Haley about a specific MPH program about policy management.
All right, great. So I'd like to kind of get an idea of who here is interested in the MPH program. Great. Anyone here who's interested in the MS in Migrant and Global Health Policy? No, but maybe you will be after you hear the presentation. You never know. Right? So just going to give you an overview of our school. How many of you are familiar with CUNY in general? Very good. We're all part of the CUNY family. We are a graduate school only as part of the CUNY. So that means we only have graduate degrees. We have 3 doctoral degrees, 5 MPH degrees, 3 MS ones, and then we have some certificate programs as well. And that's detailed in one of the brochures we have there. And so, of course, today we're going to be focusing on the ones that are in red, right? The Health Policy and Management, the MPH program, and the Global and Migrant Health Policy, the MS program. That's entirely online, so you could do it from anywhere. We are accredited. We're an accredited school, and we're very flexible. We have a very flexible schedule because how many of you are working? Great. A lot of CUNY students work, right? That's what CUNY is about. And we're here for you to provide that flexibility so that you can work and then you can attend school at the same time. And so all of our courses are in the evenings, Monday through Thursday, anywhere from 4 to 10 p.m. or so. So you can come to work and then come here in the evenings. There are no Friday classes. There are no weekend classes. And we do have a nice offering of online courses as well. So for example, for the MPH program, you can do 15 out of the 42 credits entirely online. And for the MS program, 6 out of the 35 credits. I'm sorry, the MS program is entirely online. So all of those courses can be online, but the 2 core courses are the courses that you share with the MPH program. So we're very flexible, and you can take anywhere from 1 course a semester to 5 courses a semester. I don't recommend taking 5. That's a lot at once, but you could if you really wanted to. I've seen people do it. And so a lot of our students take about 2 to 3 courses per semester because they work. And so therefore, they're going to graduate with a master's degree in 2 to 4 years. If anyone has any questions at any time, just raise your hand. No questions thus far? Okay. So how much do we cost? Well, we're very affordable. because we're part of the CUNY family, and CUNY is known to be quite affordable, right? So you can see you can get your master's degree, the MPH or DMS, for about $15,000 to $20,000 or so. And that depends, obviously, whether or not you're a New York State resident or out of state. And we do have some scholarships to help you with your graduate education. So we have something called the Dean Scholarship that covers some of your tuition, and then something called the Mayor's Graduate Scholarship Program for the employees of New York City agencies. So things like the Department of Health and other city agencies. Okay. Now for the application process. How many of you have started the SOFIS application? Great. Okay, I'm really glad. So the SOFIS is an online application portal. It stands for Schools of Public Health Application System, right? Most schools of public health in the country and in Canada use that system. You cannot apply to our MS or MPH programs unless you go through SOFIS, okay? It's kind of a lengthy process, but if you just do it step by step, you will get through it. We have the deadline for the spring is December 1st, so it's coming up in about a month and a half. And for the fall, you still have a little bit of time. How many of you are planning on applying for the spring semester? Great, so most of you, and then some of you also for the fall. That's great. Both of the programs that we're going to be talking about today, the MPH and Health Policy and DMS and the Global and Migrant Health Policy, do not require the GREs. I have that asked a lot. And so what are some of the other admission requirements? Obviously, you have to have an undergraduate degree. And it's okay if you're pursuing it currently, but by the time you enroll in a graduate program, you will have graduated, right, from that undergraduate institution. We require 2 letters of recommendation. We ask that at least one of them is from your professor. But of course, if you have been out of school for 5, 10, 20, whatever years, you might not have that relationship with your professors from back in undergrad. And so in that case, we understand where the 2 letters of recommendation come. Yeah.
On the SOFIS application, they require 3.
Yeah, that's a very confusing thing. So SOFIS requires 3 because a lot of other schools require 3, but we only require 2 letters of recommendation. And the third spot, you can put anything in there. It could be your other email address, your friend's email address, donald.gmail.com. So it will never be checked. We only make sure that we have 2 completed letters of recommendation. But of course, if you have 3 or 4 or even 5 really great ones, include them. Our admissions committee is going to look at that. Yeah.
I think I should ask. So, if you apply for financial aid, does it apply to the spring semester, or it starts in fall?
Nope. We offer our scholarships for the spring and the fall as well. Not the Mayor's Graduate Scholarship Program. That's only applicable for the fall. But our Dean's Scholarship, we do award for the spring as well. And of course, you can apply for federal financial aid using the FAFSA application. Those are great questions. So the statement of purpose is another really important part of the application, right? That statement needs to have in it why you're going to graduate school, what in your past experience, work, or school have made you apply to the School of Public Health, and what you're going to be doing with that public health degree. Very important. Your grades are obviously very important as well. Your resume will show your experience in public health or kind of your dedication to public health. If you're volunteering, if you're doing internship, anything like that, that's part of that experience. And then again, GREs are not applicable to these 2 degrees. But if you have a degree from a foreign institution, we do require TOEFL and a WES evaluation. And you can come talk to me about any of the requirements or the SOFIS application process if you have specific questions. Okay, great. Do anyone questions? Yeah.
So the recommendation letter. So if I don't have a professor to write a recommendation, whom do I reach out to? So can I get it from my employer?
Yeah, you can get it from your employer who can speak to your character, because the letter of recommendation isn't just the letter where they say, this is how I knew them. The recommendation asks to rate you on specific things like your leadership skills. So they're going to rate you from 0 to 10, I believe, on your, like leadership is one of them, your ability to work independently, things that your employer will know. Definitely acceptable. Yeah.
Can I
Go ahead, sure.
That So for those of you who may have left school for a long time already, you've been working in the field for many years. Your employers, or even colleagues, in the public health field, if you work in the public health field, could maybe attest to, some of the academic abilities that a graduate program might look for, and they can include that information in the letters. For those who are younger applicants or who are fresh out of school, either in undergraduate or graduate program, we do encourage you to include at least one academic letter. We often see applications where even for people who are still quite fresh from their undergraduate degrees, sending in only reference letters, from where they're working. And sometimes it's not as easy to ascertain the applicant's academic abilities or the academic fit, within our program based on just that information alone. So if possible, whenever possible, do try to include at least one academic letter.
Great. Yeah, any other questions? Yep.
The TOEFL's required for all foreign grads?
No, unless the language of instruction for your undergraduate institution was not English, you have to provide it. So if it was in English, then you're fine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long does it usually take to find out if you've been accepted or not after you turn in your application?
Right, so you submit your application and you can submit it before it's actually complete. So you can submit it, but we might still be waiting for a letter of recommendation or GRE scores, which is not applicable in this case. We will let you know as soon as we receive the application, and we will review it. So my office will review it and make sure that it's complete. Everything is good. Mm-hmm. And then we'll send you an email saying your application is complete. We're forwarding it to the admissions committee, and we'll give you a timeline. It's usually between 2 to 4 weeks. So we review them on a rolling basis. If you submit your application today, it will be reviewed, in the next month or so, weeks to months. Yeah. Anyone else?
I'm sorry. So is there any kind of template available for the recommendation letter or the statement of purpose?
We don't have a template for the letter of recommendation. Usually people know how to write, a letter. We just ask that they write about you, how they know you, how long they've known you, in what capacity, whether or not they can speak of, whether or not they think you can be successful in graduate school. For the statement of purpose, come and talk to me a little afterwards, and we can go through some pointers. Yeah. But like I said, those components of what made you apply to the School of Public Health, what's your experience in public health, what you're going to be doing with that degree, and just kind of conveying that passion for public health and knowledge of it as well, a little bit. Yes. Okay, anyone else? Great, and you can always come up to me and ask questions. Okay, so now we will hear about the MPH program in community health policy and management. Dr. Haley.
How is everybody? So about noon today, I started to lose my voice. So I am sorry. I usually don't sound quite this way most of the time. So my apologies. First thing, I'm going to go off a little script, which is not going to surprise Terry at all, but could you do me a favor? Because sitting in a room full of people that you don't know feels a little awkward to me. Could we just do a first name, and if you're working someplace, where you're working, and just go around the room so we have a sense? Can we start here?
Sure. Excuse me.
That's all right. Look, after me, I'm modeling. It's okay.
My name is Harry. I work at an organization called the Child Mind Institute in public health communication.
Great, Harry. Thanks. Hi.
Hi, I'm Rishi. I work at the New York City Health Department and here as an adjunct instructor at CUNY.
Rishi's one of our panelists. Yeah. And then also with the mentioned, we have Dr. Flita from the department as well. So she's great to answer any questions you might have later on. Okay, let's go down here maybe.
Hi, I'm Panzala. I'm actually a registered nurse, and I work for the Department of Education. As a school nurse.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jonathan. I'm currently an undergrad at Hunter College, and I'm a scholar at the State Senate of the Students Office.
Super, Jonathan. Thank you.
My name is McKenna, and I just graduated, finished my undergrad, so I'm kind of in between jobs and everything right now. So,
What's your undergrad in?
Anthropology.
IB perspective.
Welcome, McKenna.
Hi, my name is James Mary. Social impact,
What area? Super. Very good, Rosemary. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Nana. I just graduated with a professional therapy degree, and I work at the
Super, Nana. Thank you. Hi.
Hi everyone, my name is Jonas. I work for the Department of Health and Education.
Great, Jonas. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is May. I graduated my bachelor degree with Health Service Administrations. Currently, I'm working at the Weill Cornell Medicine Neurology Department as a prior authorization specialist.
Super, May. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashley. I work for a healthcare provider, Village Care Maps. I'm undergraduate in English.
Super.
Hi, my name is Camila. I work for the health department with the Bureau of Veterinary and Pest Control Services, and my undergrad was in biology.
Great, Camila. Thank you. Hi.
Hi, my name is Mallory. I work for Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in the administration.
Great, Mallory. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jay Shetty. I work for Pfizer Pharmaceuticals. I'm the data management and compliance related reporting stuff.
Great, Jay. Thank you. Hi.
I'm Jacqueline. I work at NYU. I'm a registered nurse in the emergency department.
Super, Jacqueline. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nicole. I'm an undergrad in Brooklyn College studying public health, but part-time I work, part-time I work as a college aide in the Department of Health.
I'm Elaine. I'm Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
I'm Navkran. I'm a medical grad. Just looking at this right now.
Fantastic. Great. Thank you. Thank you all very much. So Terry alluded to our faculty. I've been teaching within the CUNY School of Public Health for 10 years. Began at Brooklyn College and then the school consolidated. So yeah, shout out to Brooklyn. Before that, I did a bunch of work in a governor's office and then the Department of Public Health in Massachusetts and ran some nonprofits and did some private sector consulting. So the Department of Health Policy and Management really feels like home because it taps into a lot of those skill sets. The other thing I'll share with you is that I did my master's degree in Michigan at the University of Michigan, and the experience there was so good that I had this secret dream that I didn't really articulate. Well, actually, I did not articulate until I landed the job at CUNY, and that was to be able to replicate my experience in Michigan for students within the public sector, because the experience of bringing really strong rigor and applied public health was like nothing I'd ever experienced before. The faculty were accessible, they were engaged, they had high expectations, and just, it almost killed me, but it was really outstanding. So I feel really lucky to be able to try and begin to replicate some of that experience here. So with that, can I talk to you about HPAM? Can you hear me from here? Is my voice working enough? All right. So we come from a socio-ecological model. I am not going to describe the model to you in any way, shape, or form because that's the whole course. In HPAM, we really focus on trying to give our graduates the skills to improve population health and to reduce health threats from a population perspective, as well as focusing on the healthcare sector. In the process, we also hope to deliver management skills and to help people figure out how to run processes more effectively and efficiently. A big part of the school is our focus on equity and the reduction of health disparities. And we try to develop skills for our graduates to lead in those efforts and to conduct analyses, to disseminate those findings in a way that policymakers can use. We have also been known to engage in political advocacy along the way. All right. A whole bunch of stuff we teach, and I'm not going to take it's on the website. It's a lot easier for you to look at it there than for. Are we agreed? I don't have to run through the list. Please nod. Thank you. Good. All right. So, as I suggested, folks with masters in public health often go on to local health departments, to state health departments, leadership roles within nonprofits, private sector, hospitals, nursing organizations, and very frequently take on program manager, director, and executive roles. This is just a snapshot from the Bureau of Labor Statistics of some of the occupations and the projections for areas of health policy and management into the future, starting salaries, and so forth. Again, is it okay that I don't read this? Are we good with it? You're good. All right. Can you find me? Can you find her? Yeah. I'm kidding. Can you find Stacy? All right. This is our group of current faculty, and as Terry said, we've made some really terrific new additions. We had some great people, but we also have added some really wonderful additions. So we're excited for what that future holds. Here is a sampling of the research interests, and I'm going to hold that. This you don't find on the website, so I'm going to let you look at that for a minute. And this is just a selected list. It's not everything, okay? Am I good? Great, thank you. And here is a sampling of some of our recent publications. And again, I didn't go through all the faculty. I just I grabbed a few and then put them in alphabetical order. But I think what you can see there is that the publications really begin to reflect some of the interests that were on the previous slide. And these are all publications, I believe, from 2019, 2018. Right. Dr. Wayne mentioned that we have a number of centers and institutes. We certainly have CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute, the Center for Migrant, Refugee and Global Health, as well as the Center for Systems Community Design, the professor runs, as well as the NYU CUNY Prevention Research Center. He can speak with you more about that either during the panel session or at the end. And some, photo images of a couple of the faculty books that have been published. And I think that's it. That's it. Okay, we're going to take questions at the end.
Yeah, or
anything burning now?
Unless okay. So we are going to learn a little bit about this master's program. We've been telling you about the Master of Science in Global Migrant Health Policy. Yes.
So good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. My name is Elizabeth Figueroa. I'm the really newest person in the Department of Global Health, Global Policy and Management here. I've literally been here for 5 days, so you'll have to bear with me. I can't say I'm glad that everybody is interested in the other masters, but I guess I am because I don't have all the answers so far. So Sean just pointed to the Center of Institute that are part of the department. So I've just joined the Center for Immigrant, Refugee, and Global Health, which is headed by Professor Sherry, who couldn't be here tonight. So I've really been hired to more on the management side of the center to really coordinate the further development. So it's really about the work plan, develop a strategy for the center, have a communication plan, engage and strengthen partnerships, and also work on grant development proposals. So, and I'm not extremely familiar with the Master of Science yet, but I'll eventually get there. So the mission of the center was previously to serve as a hub for implementation science and innovation development in the field of immigrant, refugee, and global health. And just 2 words about me, I have a legal doctorate training in France, and I've been actually solely with the UN until now, where I'm joining the academic. I've been with UNICEF and UNAIDS for about 15 years, mostly in the area of governance, external relations, and fundraising. So that's really my background. So let's turn to the Master of Science. Maybe I'll elicit some interest and you'll have some questions that I won't be able to answer. So which button? This one here. Yes. So the overarching objective really is to provide working professional with the context, expertise, and research method for evaluating and formulating global and migrant health policy and programs. And we've said working professional because this master's has really been designed for early and mid-career professionals in mind, starting with the fact that it's offered on an online format to accommodate really for the work schedule for those professionals, but it's mostly in mind for people who are actually already engaged. So the core curriculum, we just wanted to sort of distinguish content and context because the core curriculum, and we'll get to the courses in a minute, are rooted in public health competencies, which have been described for the previous masters. But the context is really framed within global health policy development and policies at different levels affecting migrant population, and especially in urban setting, in high, low, and middle income countries. So turning to the curriculum, so it's been mentioned, it's entirely offered online. There's 34 total credits, and you'll see after what are the specific courses, but you see the number of credits that are required. And I'm not too familiar yet about the schedule, but full-time would be 1.5 years and part-time would be 2 years. And there's all kind of sort of suggested course sequence on the website. So the curriculum has some of the courses that are in your masters for the core coursework, and that's 6 credits. And then you have concentration courses, and there are 6 of them. 2 are actually being taught right now. One is actually by, I believe, yourself on migration and health. And then for the International Health Organization, it's taught by Professor Sherry. Then there's some electives, 2 electives to be chosen with a faculty advisor. The capstone project, I won't be able to talk too much about it. Maybe Professor Huang or Professor Haile could. And then that's it. That's adding to 33 credits. So we've listed the personal aspiration. I'm not going to really list them, but they derive from the overarching objective that I presented at the beginning, but I won't read them. The competency, which I think you'll be interested, also deriving from the overarching, is really to analyze, design, monitor, evaluate policies, disseminate the evidence and advance implementation science, and then the applying the methods. Anyway, I'll let you read what's on the screen. And then just to be, a little concrete, like Professor Haile, is just to give some of the sort of outcomes and where you could get on. So that's some of the sample job titles, be it in the area of policy or advocacy, and basically also research, director, senior research, And then we've listed some of the sample organizations. So the UN World is certainly a vivier or pool in English, sorry, of potential positions. And then some of the local organization, NGO, immigrant-centered organization, refugee assistance, resettlement agencies, and then some of the NGO, CARES and the Children World Vision, which definitely could offer some of those positions. So that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I think we're going to ask Professor Su to maybe say a few words about your perspective on sort of the broad field of global and migrant health policy, and maybe also like some professional opportunities that you think may be on the horizon in the next few years, based on your sense of where the field is going.
Sure. So,
say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Rishi Sood. I'm the Executive Director of Healthcare Access and Policy in the Bureau of Equitable Health Systems at the City Health Department here in New York. And I've been at the Health Department for 8 years, working on issues related to health insurance and access to healthcare, but also immigrant health. And so I'm definitely happy to share the perspective of our local government and local health department when it comes to the role of this program and the Department of Health Policy and Management in training current practitioners, future public health practitioners in policy issues specifically related to New York City. But as all of you know, New York City is a global city, and issues that affect people in New York City affect people in New York State and affect people in the United States and affect people across the world. So that's the perspective that I bring. I'm also teaching here currently the Migration and Health course, and then I'll also be teaching the Comparative Urban Analysis course about health systems in different cities next semester. So in terms of where the field of immigrant health within public health is right now, it won't be a surprise to anybody that reads the papers or listens to the radio, or really hears anything in the news these days, that immigrant health, for better or for worse, is in the limelight. That the Affordable Care Act can be seen as it's been over 10 years now since the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare, has been really a hot topic, right? Even when President Obama was in office, and that expanding to the Medicare for All debate in the presidential primaries that's going on right now on the healthcare side tells you certainly that healthcare is a hot topic. Immigration is also a hot topic and has been a hot topic before this current administration was in office. Whether it's about what's happening at the Mexico-U.S. border, or whether it's about what's happening with the immigration policies coming down from the federal government really on a daily basis. The ones that obviously have made the biggest splash in the news over the last few years, the travel ban, the treatment of children separated from their families at the U.S. border intentionally by our government. Just a few examples of how immigration is very much in the spotlight. And, the work that's being done at every level of government, but outside of government, importantly, in community-based organizations, by healthcare providers, and in academia, is critical to making sure that all of us, whether or not we work in public health, are aware of what's going on, and are doing what we can to advocate for what we believe in and what we want in terms of immigrant health. And so just over the last few days, just on Friday and over the weekend, collectively, there was 5 actions in the U.S. court system, 5 preliminary injunctions, which means 5 different federal judges ruled that a major rule from the federal government was not able to go into place today. That's big news because it's not often And I don't think probably anyone in this room would be able to remember a time in their lifetime where so many different people from around the country are coming together in the immigrant health space, because that rule that was ruled against, the public charge rule, which some of you may have heard of, really is in many ways the heart of what immigrant health and access to health care for immigrants is defined by. Just a few hours ago, the Kaiser Family Foundation, a very respected organization in health care and public health, came out with a new report that shows the fear or chilling effect that immigrants are facing related to accessing care and dropping insurance coverage at community health centers across the country in urban and rural areas. All of that just to tell you that this issue is a hot topic. And that this issue is not going anywhere. This issue is going to be an important topic well after this federal administration is no longer in office. And it's going to be up to all of us, whether we're working in government or outside of government, to make sure that we're understanding the issue, which is why I'm so excited about this new master's program, because this program is going to continue training people who are interested in this field and make sure that when they're going on to their next job or when they're staying in their organization and finishing this degree and getting promoted into a new role or taking on a new role, they have a new perspective on the importance of understanding immigrant health, really from different lenses. And in terms of where we're going, I think that what's important, and as we were developing the migration and health course, what became really clear is that there's certain things that really as a graduate student in this area, would be seeking to understand is what are the cultural and structural factors in immigrant health that are creating this environment, right? What are the factors that often differ? The health of Latino immigrants is very different from the health of African immigrants, which could be very different from the health of Asian immigrants. But even that sometimes is not granular enough, because all of those are big groups, right? And in a city, particularly like New York, we have 8.5 million people in New York City. 40% of New York City is foreign born. So 40% of New York City residents were born outside of the United States and are considered immigrants. That's millions of people. And so in order to truly understand even just New York City, and of course we're focused on beyond New York City in this program, you really need to sort of very methodically understand where are people coming from, what are the health issues that they face there, what are the healthcare access issues that they're used to in their home country, and then how do they navigate the health system here in the United States and in New York City. And a lot of us, whether we're immigrants or not, probably experience difficulties navigating the US healthcare system and the New York State healthcare system and the New York City health system. And so those issues are exacerbated for immigrants. And the goal really in this program and in these courses is to make sure that people understand what are the specific barriers that immigrants are facing, and then training people to create policy solutions or propose policy solutions to policymakers, or for those who are policymakers, it is them who are coming up with those proposals to try to see what can be done, whether it's at the city level or the state level or the federal level. And the other thing that's really important for folks to understand is what data is available, right? What data sources, what data sets are available to understand who are the immigrants in across the world, in the United States, in New York, without understanding who the immigrants are, whether it's looking at the census or whether it's looking at New York City Health Department surveys, which are done on an annual basis, or whether it's looking at any other survey or something new that might be being developed by an academic institution or by a government agency. It's really important for students to be able to really understand what's out there, but then think innovatively about what other data collection efforts should we be doing? What should we be doing in order to make sure that we as practitioners have a really accurate and non-biased view of who immigrants are, where they come from, what their health insurance coverage rates look like, what their utilization of healthcare looks like, whether or not they have health insurance. And in order to get to that, it really takes a lot of understanding of the different data sets that are out there. So I just want to sort of close with the importance of the partnership. I heard when we went around the room and talked about all the different organizations that we work for. There's a lot of city agencies represented. There's healthcare providers. There's nonprofits. There's community-based organizations. Particularly over the last 3 years or so in this federal environment, it's become really clear to me that we can't make real advancements and real sustainable advancements in terms of policies in immigrant health, certainly not at the local level, without all of those organizations working together. And the way that all of those organizations work together, and what I'm doing at the health department, is working every day with community-based organizations, with other city agencies, to make sure that we are understanding what the current environment is for our population, but then advocating for policy change. And really what's exciting to hear about all the different people and the organizations represented in this room is that it's with that type of diversity in terms of organizations that we all work with that we're going to be able to make real change in policy that's going to improve the health of immigrant populations across our city, but well beyond that, across the country and across the world. So I'm happy to take any questions as well, but I'll stop there.
Thank you.
The microphone out so that.
Yeah, should we let Emily and Leandra just 5 minutes say something?
Yeah, we're just going to get a microphone out.
Okay. So Emily, I don't know if you want to just very briefly share with everyone here your perspectives on being a graduate of the HPAM program and how has it helped you? Yeah, I think you can go to the podium for now. Yeah, sure. I don't know if the mic for the recording function.
Hi, my name is Emily Ferris. I'm the Assistant Director for the Center for Systems and Community Design here at the CUNY School of Public Health. So I work with Dr. Huang here. I attended the CUNY School of Public Health Masters in Health Policy and Management before the school consolidated. So I did it at Hunter College. I actually moved to New York in part to attend the CUNY School of Public Health. I moved here from Florida and worked as an assistant kindergarten teacher for a year and got residency and then applied and worked as a kindergarten teacher my first year in the program. My second year in the program, I started as a research assistant with Dr. Huang, and then I also interned at the health department. And then so when I completed the program, Dr. Huang brought me on full-time as a project coordinator. And so we've worked on a lot of different projects together, and I've had a variety of roles within the center, and I'm now the assistant director. I had a wonderful experience in the program. It connected me to a lot of great professors and faculty and staff. Especially since I'm not from New York originally, it was a great way to kind of better understand the city and all the things that are happening in the city generally, but also in the public health sector. It was great. It was incredible exposure to all of the things that are happening in the health policy world. I really enjoyed meeting my peers in the program. It was great for me personally to be able to work full-time that first year. But it was also really cool to have peers who were working such diverse jobs and have a better understanding of what their experiences were with health policy on the ground.
Well, Emily will be around to answer questions later too. But maybe Leandra, you're a current student, right? Maybe you can say a few words.
I think you guys can hear me anyway.
I think you need to say to it for the recording. Just
okay. So my name is Leandra. I'm a current student here at CUNY School of Public Health. I'm currently on my last semester. I came in kind of fresh from undergrad. I had an international studies background.
microphone is still muted. You gotta hit the power button. I'm sorry.
Hello.
There we go.
So my name is Leandra. I came in here kind of fresh from undergrad. My major was in international studies, and I also minored in global health. I always knew I was interested in public health, so I wanted to study in the city. I grew up here in New York. And second, I'm going to second your opinion that studying with a lot of my colleagues that came from different backgrounds and already worked in the healthcare industry was very eye-opening for me. I made a lot of good friends and good contacts. I have a friend now that's working for NASA. She just graduated. And just fostering community. I know the school is kind of new, a couple of years here, but I was even part of the Graduate Student Association, and I got to meet a lot of people through there. And I had a great experience during my capstone. I worked with Professor Haley, who got a Fulbright, and we worked in Brazil. And I thought that was a great experience for me to be able to apply what I was learning in class in terms of health policy and using my language skills with communities that had different sort of access to healthcare than I was used to here in the US. So that was a great experience.
Any questions? Me or anyone else?
How long did it take you to complete? You said you were working, so working, I'm thinking, how long did it take you to finish?
Thank you. I started with a summer course, and then it took me like 2 years after that to finish. So I did it in like roughly 2 years and 1 semester. And it was definitely challenging working full time, but I took about 2 classes per semester while I was working full time, but definitely took summer classes and January term classes as well, and that was really helpful. And the online classes also made the working full time and taking classes pretty doable.
Else? We do not offer winter classes here at this campus, so it's only spring, summer, and the fall semesters.
Yeah. I mean, occasionally we may have some electives that are offered in the winter, so those can be used towards your elective credits.
And also elective credits, could they be taken from another college? Or do you have to take them all here?
They can.
Yeah, so we have students who take courses at other CUNY campuses through a system called ePermit. And it's really easy because if you're a different CUNY, we're all part of the CUNY family, like I said. So you can pretty easily take those courses. Obviously, they would have to be approved by your advisor. And so all of our students have advisors. They have an administrative advisor, kind of goes over all your courses, make sure you have all the prerequisites, plans out your course of study for the next, 2, 3, whatever years it's going to take you. And then you have a faculty advisor that you meet with every semester as well to talk about, things like career objectives or research interests.
Anything that is unclear?
So I did notice that when we were going over the different credit requirements, there was one that said 0 credits. It was called Public Health Knowledge. I just wanted to know more about that class and why it's 0 credits.
I can answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. So the 0 credit class is a foundations course, and it's really just an online module that you go in and you complete on your own time to make sure that you have that foundation in public health. Very basic kind of questions and little modules that you go through. It's 0 credits. You can do it on your own time. A lot of our students did it even during the summer before they started their their MPH course. So it's not a big time commitment, but it just kind of makes sure that you have the background in public health to then go on and really get into those public health courses.
Is there a sort of interdisciplinary approach between this department and the other departments in the School of Public Health in terms of, I don't know, is there an attitude of interdisciplinarity or?
So the school basically has a matrix organization. The departments are the vertical academic, and administrative units where most of the full-time faculty and academic programs are housed. The centers and institutes are sort of the horizontal cross-cutting units where we have significant concentrations of research and practice-based, initiatives. And so in many ways, because of the matrix organization, there's a lot of transdisciplinarity. So faculty and students from different departments often come together in the context of research or practice-based initiatives that are housed in the centers and institutes.
Terry, if I could, oh my gosh, my voice, I'm sorry. If I could, I think even within HPAM, there is approach most of the work across disciplines. So I have a master's in public health, my PhD is in social policy. There's a lawyer. We have economists. Terry, what's your PhD in? Medicine. So within the department, we're multidisciplinary. Stacey, what about you?
Health services research.
Health services research. So within the department, and some of my best friends within the school work in other departments, and we publish together and we do research together. So it's a fairly communal law. We're a small school. Stacey.
I think one of the ways that students might experience interdisciplinarity first is in being simply able to take courses in the other departments as electives. So it's really common for our students to take courses in community health and society. Some of our students will take courses in GIS through the environmental health department. And that's probably the first level of experience. And of course, there are different levels of experience when it comes to working with faculty and studies, working with the centers and things like that. I mean, we're a small group, so we actually really all do work together well.
Yes?
Can you concentrate in more than one sub-concentration, like health policy and management as well as public health nutrition?
No, unfortunately, you cannot. You have to choose. You can, however, apply to all of them. If you don't know yet, right? But you want to go to graduate school, you can apply and, see kind of where that gets you, have a few more months to kind of think about it and then make that decision as it gets closer to the semester.
Although, I mean, you can take electives in a specific, secondary area, right? And so nothing stops you from taking extra classes, that would count towards electives. So in essence, if you're majoring in HPAM, but you really want to have also the content, knowledge in, environmental health, for example, you can just choose to take environmental health classes, for electives.
Okay.
So.
Yes. Can any major be completed online or everything is on campus?
No, unfortunately. So for the MPH programs, you can complete 15 out of the 42 credits online, but the MS programs you can do entirely online. So the MS in global and migrant health policy can be completed entirely online, but the MPH right now, no. We do have some courses in addition to the 15 credits, the core courses. So all of these courses are the core courses. All MPH students take 611, 612, 613, 614, 610. And all of those are offered online. They're offered every semester. They're offered online and in person. So if you want to take one in person and one online, that is your choice. That is how flexible we are. But all of these other ones, those have to be taken in person right here. This is our campus. We have 4 floors here, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And so this is where you would be coming.
I think Leandro spoke to this, and certainly there are advantages to programs that are fully online and other programs are mixed, like we have. But I think Leandra's spoken to the value that she experienced around having a cohort and colleagues that are working in the field that she was able to connect with. And I think that's one of the things as a small school we offer is that connection and able to work in groups with someone you see. And I'm not saying that it's always easy. We live in New York. It takes us forever to get down to. I am not saying it's easy, right? But there's a value there, and I still folks that I my master's with and my other program, I'm still in touch with them, and I still rely on them as resources within the field. So there's a value there. I'm not saying that it's not possible to do online, but I think it's a different thing. Right?
Can you explain about the capstone project? You talked about it.
No, I can. Teaching, I've never taught it before. I'm teaching it next semester, so yeah. So there are two different processes. Elizabeth, if I'm remembering, Meg, which one do you have? Is that the MPH? That's MPH, okay. So the capstone within the MPH program is a cumulative project. Usually you spend your field work working in the field, collecting data or on an intensive project. And in the capstone, that comes to fruition. So if you were administering a survey during the field work, you would do the analysis and the write-up in the capstone and present that as a community. If you were developing curriculum and doing the field work to develop the curriculum, do focus groups and that sort of thing, you would produce the curriculum for your capstone. So it's a cumulative product at the end of your MPH career.
It's a culminating thesis project, and the output is basically roughly the length and depth, of a full-length scientific article, if you will. Now, not everybody does. Not everybody does. An epi study, for example, right? I mean, there are lots of different variations to how that project can be formulated. But usually, we encourage, students and working with their faculty to really fashion that product to be a scientific product, and some students actually go on to publish their, eventual product. So it could be quantitative, it could be qualitative, it could be policy analysis. There are a lot of different flavors to how that product ultimately looks like. But it's kind of the equivalent of what you might imagine, to be a thesis project at a master's level. And as Dr. Haley pointed out, we do try to encourage that students link their capstone to the fieldwork because to really have a substantive product, oftentimes it would take longer than just the span of one semester, to really make that happen. Therefore, if it's connected to your fieldwork, you're doing a lot of the first half of the work already leading up to your capstone. And in fact, I think we're going to move closer, more and more towards a model where by the end of your fieldwork, you already have a proposal, a concrete plan for your capstone. Okay, and that proposal would be essentially a deliverable of your fieldwork. And then as soon as you start the capstone semester, you can just, dig right in to the work that's needed, to eventually generate that paper, that report.
And the capstone is this great product to be able to have in hand to talk to future employers. That talks about the very beginning of a process that you design that accumulates to this really good project. It's like a great show to, oh, by the way, I did this. So, well, how did you do it? And you take them through. And it's a wonderful calling card.
Yeah, so that's a really good point because actually throughout your tenure during the program, whether you're the EMS or the MPH, one of the things that we're again trying to help students organize is the concept of a portfolio. So everything that you do in your classes, not just the fieldwork or the capstone, but even in your regular coursework, if you can think about how the products, whether it's a term paper or, a data instrument that you had to develop for a course, right? All of these things can be packaged into elements of a portfolio. And then so when you graduate and you're thinking of either advancing your current job or looking for a new job, it's great to have that portfolio that you can, share with prospective employers. So that's a really good way to think about all the things that you may be doing and accumulating throughout the program.
Any other questions? Yes.
In terms of schedule, do you offer like flexible schedule for classes, morning, evening, or?
Sure. So all of our courses are in the evenings, anywhere from 4 to 10 p.m., Monday through Thursday. And that's not that flexible if you have to be at work until 6 p.m. or, things like that, because there might be courses where you'll be taking them on Mondays from 4 to 6, but a lot of them are 6 to 8 or 8 to 10. And you can kind of pick and choose, your courses, obviously, those electives later on, beyond those very core courses that you could take online or you could take one semester or another. So we are quite flexible. It's all in the evening.
All in the evening.
All in the evening, nothing during the day, not in the morning.
The online courses are generally asynchronous, so there's no set time.
How many students are in the school? And how many students are
We have 750 students in the entire school, but that includes our doctoral program and our certificate students, right? So 750. And how many students are in your department?
Probably around 225, 230, thereabout. So we have just over 200 master level students. And then the rest are doctoral students. And our doctoral program, which Dr. Plita actually directs, is a shared PhD between our department in community health and social sciences. So it's a PhD in community health and health policy. So the students are now shared, so they don't belong to any one particular department. So we are the biggest department in terms of student population at the school.
That's true. Is that a question?
Personal statement that says 500 words. What if you have more than that?
No, you could have a little bit more, 510, 520, right? But we don't want you to have 1,000 words. Remember, the admissions committee is looking at a lot of applications. Right? So they can't read essays that are, pages and pages long. And your essay really should be quite succinct. It should be to the point. You should really kind of lay out all those points that I discussed earlier. So try to reread it and have someone else read it. That's what we always recommend. You write it, then have a friend read it, your mom read it, whoever else, then you read it again and have someone else read it to make sure that it looks good, that it reads well. Yeah.
So for that, we'll also just add that, we're looking for a few dimensions specifically. So we're interested in each applicant's fit, with our program and with our school. And we get at that by looking at your life experiences. We look at your career aspirations. How will getting this degree really help you advance your career, as well as make a contribution, to the public health field at large, right? We're also interested in looking at your writing quality. So your ability to succinctly convey who you are, why this MPH is important or relevant to you, and how by getting this degree you will make a contribution to the public health field. These are critical elements.
Anyone else? Okay. Great. We have some more refreshments in the back if you'd like to help yourself. Want to talk to one of us? Let me know.
Yeah, we'll linger a little bit, so just come to us if you have questions, okay?
You'll find out. But I can't send it to the so you won't be able to do it. One data No, it's only on the course. I mean, they are direct, right? Yeah, it's been yeah.